I'ma take your ass back like I don't fuck with you.
Yes.
You little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. You little dumb ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. I got a million trillion things I'd rather fucking do than to be fucking with you. Little stupid ass, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, bitch.
Listen, I don't even gotta say who this goes out to. You could tell by the regalia on my body that I support a certain team. Turn this down a little bit. I want to make sure y'all heard that. The head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Matter of fact, let's go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 127 of the SplashCast, the ATL Edition, Sunday night. I don't even know what to call this. I was about to say Sunday Night Raw, but ATL Edition of the SplashCast, Hawks Talk, Falcons live reaction. We appreciate y'all. I am your co-host, Disappointment, aka Reggie.
I am Norwood.
Uh-oh.
I'm in a little bit better space, I think, than Reggie.
No, you good.
But outside of that, I mean, yeah, we here.
How are you in a better space?
We hurt, but we here. I don't want to get into the topic into too much detail, but I made peace with it right around halftime. I know when you playing with a team and it's going to come back to bite you. I saw it. I'm like, oh, there's no reason for them to still be in this game. But let's not belabor the point. Let's start with these people so we can inform them if they were fortunate enough not to watch this game.
I'm so frustrated. I ain't even set up the damn whatever. Y'all listen. This is the Atlanta edition. We talk about the Hawks, the Falcons, and the Braves, and the United when they're playing. It is now the off season for the Braves. The United, I think, is the off season for them too now. If it isn't the off season, they aren't very good. And so now it is Hawks and Falcons. So Hawks talk and Falcons news and notes. We're gonna start out again with the Falcons. You know we do football. Where to begin, my friend? I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I don't know who is what. I don't believe that we are this bad as a team. So while I set this up, man, did you watch the game? I don't think today?
I watched the entire game. I don't want to use the term that we're bad at all. I think the players, if you really look, there's not a player you can identify and say, hey, you played a bad game. There are players that I wish had played better, but I mean, there's not really a place the blame is squarely on one individual today. That's who it is. And that's art. You started out with, the song, but the emotion, I'm trying to pace myself. I'm trying to keep a level head. I know it's early in the season, and I don't want to get consumed. But it ain't early in the season. You're right. It's at the midpoint of the season. And the bad part about it is the Hawks last year were middling. The Falcons this year are middling. We are the middling city. Shout out to the Braves, I guess. We right back in the 90s. Hawks middling, Falcons middling, Braves winning all the games except for the championship. It's life. It's the life we live. This is what happens when your parents decided to grow to start a family in Georgia. Struggle, strife. That's what we get.
The Falcons are turning me into an ornery old black man right before my very eyes.
Oh, without a doubt.
So let's for those that didn't watch the game, and I'm sure you did because this is a game reaction. The Falcons played the Minnesota Vikings. The Falcons played the Minnesota Vikings with no Justin Jefferson. The Falcons played the Minnesota Vikings with no Kirk Cousins.
Wait, there's more.
The Falcons played the Minnesota Vikings. They knocked out the second string quarterback on the first drive.
Which I will say, when he was playing, he did look good.
The Falcons played against a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings that got there 6 days ago.
Maybe 5.
And we ended up losing this game 31-28. And I know you look at this score and you say,
soul crushing.
Just disheartening. I know
No.
say,
Wait. I just thought about it. This loss or last week's loss? Which one was worse?
Who we lose to last week?
We lost on the drop after we had came back.
The Tennessee
coming
Titans.
Down the field. And Van Jefferson dropped the first down catch. Just dropped it. Drippity drop.
They're both hurtful. But I would say this one is more hurtful because you can point to some things that the Tennessee Titans did that got away with that set them up to be in the game at the end of the game. There was no hanky panky with the officials. There was no finagling, no missed calls. I mean, I'm sure there was some.
You're right.
But we just lost.
Honestly, we lost this. The Falcons lost this game. I would say predominantly Arthur Smith lost this game, and this is a game they should have never been in. I was talking about this game while it was going on, and there's no reason for Minnesota to even be in the conversation in this game, period. But, I mean, let's start with the safety.
So, the Falcons...
As I feel too.
What are you talking about?
Just the laugh of disappointment.
So, the Falcons, the defense, yes, they gave up 31 points. Oh, don't freeze on me. Yes, the defense gave up 31 points. But it wasn't 31 points like you would typically think. Where's the chat box? Let me make sure I got the chat box there. Right. It wasn't the typical 31 points that you would think. And this right here is the safety. For those that are watching, if you're listening, where we have the video of the safety where Calais Campbell took advantage of a Minnesota
Mr.
Vikings.
100 sacks himself.
Yeah, Mr. 100 sacks himself took advantage of the Minnesota Vikings, leaving him one-on-one. They triple teamed David Onyemata, who I will say has been playing like a man. He has been playing like a man. I was questioning that signing at the beginning, but now, and he was just coming in there with Grady Jarrett and Grady get hurt. But anyway, Calais gets the safety on Josh Dobbs' first drive. So now it's 5-3. Why do we have 5? Because, well, tell me, what did you think when you saw the safety? I thought we was about to kind of run away with this.
Yeah, at that point, we kicked that first field goal. I was a little disappointed. I'm so tired of kicking field goals. Also, shout out to Young Wei Koo for being a bucket. When we need him, he gonna get the points. No matter where it is, he just gonna do it.
Every time.
I think the second best field goal percentage in NFL history. Kudos to you, Young Wei. Without you, I don't know where we would be or who we would be. But after the safety, I'm like, okay, well, Dobbs he don't look shook, but he just doesn't look prepared. And that's rightfully so. He got there, I think, Monday or Tuesday. I don't know this playbook. Hell, I don't know these players. I don't know anybody on this team, really. And he had 2 big turnovers, but this, I think, is the first one, the safety. I was like, all right, well, they shouldn't be able to just score, and we should be able, we got Taylor Heineke. For all intents and purposes, he looks like a legitimate regular quarterback in the NFL. Not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but a regular-ass quarterback for a regular team. What do you think about the safety?
Like I said, I thought we was about to get out of there. I knew Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs looked like he was overwhelmed. We had them pinned back. Our defense was playing well. We were getting pressure. We were collapsing the pocket. We were doing a lot of things. I thought this was the beginning. I was like, okay, now the offense is about to take off. Because the defense was getting off the field. Man,
and it's so frustrating because we're doing this without our leader, without arguably our best defensive player, Grady Jarrett. We didn't look bad without Grady, and that is a very realistic option to just And I want to give Ryan Nielsen a shout out. He has been coaching the hell out of this defense. He's gotten all the toothpaste out of the thing, Just whatever we got, he gonna make it happen with who we got. And I'm impressed for that. We got to give him a ton of credit for that because he's coaching his ass off in spite of Arthur Smith, and I don't know what the hell that man is doing.
So this is why I thought we were gonna run away with the game. The second play, Josh Dobbs' second drive, we get a fumble. Let that rock right there. We get a fumble right there. Josh Dobbs goes to scramble. A great play made by AK-17, and we get the ball, and the defense, Lorenzo Carter is everywhere. He's always in the right spot. He gets there, and we put the ball at the 1 yard line. The 1 yard line, y'all. Defense flexing, feeling itself. They got like negative yardage. Like they ain't doing nothing. Like, come on, dog. And then this is when Arthur Smith decided to sabotage the game.
Get cute.
You cannot blame Falcons Nation. You cannot blame the defense for letting the offense go down there and score to win the game. You can't blame the defense for that and not give them credit when they get 3 turnovers and a safety. The Falcons didn't have the ball in the second half. They played the whole second half. I am go ahead, because I'm going to get mad.
I just want to say shout out to the defense. The defense all season has carried us. I mean, we've been Falcons fans our whole lives. We're historically not a team to ever have a defense. So for us to have a defense, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. Very angry, honestly. I'm just trying to keep my emotions in check because this is the life of a Falcons fan.
So I will say I am happy that Algier got his, we finally played bully ball at the end, and he got his touchdown with 2 minutes left, which I thought, despite it all, despite us absolutely being awful, despite the terrible play calling, I thought this was going. I was like, the defense is going to hold. Josh Dobbs, man. Oh, they got that penalty. And Josh Dobbs, man. Josh Dobbs being a rushing quarterback. I will say Nielsen has done well, but he ain't come out that zone, and they was eating us alive on that cover 3 zone. They was running the same out routes all the way down the field. He would just run.
And Josh Dobbs made, to me, I think he's a wash because he gave up. I mean, the safety is kind of his fault. He could have definitely got rid of it. And then he also fumbled the ball. But then he made 2 world beater plays at the end of the game, and you're just like,
why would you not? Dog, he's been killed. Come on, man. And I know it's difficult to play Monday morning quarterback or play defensive quarterback afterwards. But you know he's a running threat at the end of the game. Why would you not spy him?
But you did. You sent the corner. He missed the sack, and then he spit out of the sack, rolled all the way around, and then ran down. And I'm just like, that's execution. There's that one play. If you make that tackle, you get us out of there. You not making that tackle is a fundamental change in the game. That I'm not gonna blame that. He called the right play. You got to tackle.
He did call it. Yeah, you got to. I will say that I don't know if that's a product of fatigue or whatever, but we were missing a lot of tackles in the second half.
At the end of the day, you just didn't execute.
The second half, Nielsen put us in the position to make the plays, and we didn't make them.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm another team and I'm competitive, but I need a defense, Ryan Nielsen should be the guy that I'm calling. He has impressed the hell out of me. Well, I say the same thing about Arthur Smith, so I'm gonna just shut up.
I ain't never said Arthur Smith impressed me. I ain't never said that.
He overall he has, because of the team. The teams he's coached mostly have not been that good. He's got them.
Bruh, so you're saying that he's good at meeting low expectations? Is that what you're saying?
Exceeding low expectations.
Either way. So he's low-hanging fruit coach. He's the low-hanging fruit coach. Because I'm going to let you know right now, I got some burning questions about the Falcons going forward. Arthur Smith is solely responsible for us losing this game.
I agree.
Solely responsible for us losing this game. You have a top 5 rushing offense. And instead of just playing big boy football and giving the ball to Algier, you don't use him any other time. Giving the ball to Cordero, you don't use him any other time. You run a damn sweep to Jonnu Smith. Shout out to Jonnu, bro. I didn't know you was that fast on that wide receiver screen. But why are we running a wide receiver screen to a tight end? That's not Kyle Pitts. I don't.
His distribution of targets is off to me.
You said what?
It is his distribution of targets. I mean,
I don't know.
Tyler needs to run between the tackles more. I don't know why he likes to run Bijan between the tackles so much. Like, if we want this guy to make it, then we should probably put him on the edges more. And, hey, we especially down Drake London, we need to play more Tyler in the slot. You need to compensate for that receiver.
No.
And I do like Van Jefferson. I like the 2 tight ends with Jonnu Smith, but we got to find a way to get our best people on the field and get them in space more often. We're not doing that consistently.
Bruh. You have Cordero Patterson. If you feel that he's not, you didn't trade him. The trade deadline is passed. Let me tell you what the Falcons are. I'm going to get back to what you said. Let me tell you what the Falcons are. The Falcons are a product of not making moves. You needed a defensive end. Daniel Hunter was available. You needed a defensive end. You went after Montez Sweat and tried to lowball the Bears. It got outbid. You didn't get a defensive end or rush in. You know what we couldn't really get on Josh Dobbs? Pressure. After them first 2 drives. You didn't go shore up the secondary. You didn't go try to go get another safety. You didn't try to do anything like that. You know what we missed? A whole lot of tackles. You didn't go get a coverage linebacker at the beginning of the year. Everybody's like, what happened to Rashawn Evans from last year? He was leading the league of tackles and he had like 5 pass breakups.
He just at home.
You didn't go get him. You know who killed us? TJ Hawkinson. You see what I'm saying? You needed another. You need to be able to play the weapons that you have, and you need to be able to go out and capitalize on getting these players. And you didn't get anybody. You had a chance to go get Justin Fields. You could have gone there. You didn't go get him. You could have gone and got anybody else, but you decided to stick with Desmond Ridder. The Falcons are reaping what they sow. They ain't sow nothing, so you ain't getting no crops. That's why we can't win.
And after we set up that and got that cap space, at that point, I was like, okay, we're going to do something with it. It's just wasted. I just knew, all right, well, we're going to spend some money now. Let's go do something. And I don't know, man. This is an Arthur Smith loss. It's sometimes I really get confused on, what is his game plan? What are you thinking? How what do you want this to look like?
I don't know. I said at the beginning of the year,
the offensive play calling has to step up.
I said Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith. You don't normally get 2 quarterbacks. You normally get 1. It's hard to hit your wagon or justify hitching your wagon to Desmond Ridder. You remember I said that?
That is terrible.
I said that when they didn't go out and get anybody, and then it came out that they tried to trade for Kyler Murray.
That's never the answer. Kyler Murray ain't the answer in Arizona. If it ain't the answer in Arizona, it sure ain't the answer in Atlanta. Let me tell you that much. You didn't.
All these moves you didn't make. You tried. I like the moves on defense, but we still don't have a rush end. In this day and age, in this football climate, you need a rush end, a versatile linebacker.
Our rush end is Bud Dupree.
Bud ain't got no moves. He's just strong. He run right at. He just run right into the offensive tackle. He don't do no swim move, no spin move, no nothing. You didn't go get anybody, and now. And you couple that on defense because they playing their heart out. I mean, with all the stuff I'm complaining about the defense, they are playing their heart out, dog. They allowed 17 points in the second half, but the offense left 21 points on the board. 21 points.
Kicking field goal is going to be the death of me. We kick and I'm just like, I mean, it's good because you're going to get the 3 most times because Young Way is a bucket. But we leave way too many 4s on the board.
Not from the 1 yard line. That's a loss.
We're missing a lot of 4s, and all of the games that we've lost, we ain't really getting our ass whooped.
So
we're winning.
We're not getting our ass whooped, but it's Arthur Smith's play calling that is always either putting us behind the 8 ball at the beginning of the game, or it's making questionable decisions during and after the game. Like, how long do you think? How long do you keep Arthur Smith if you're Terry Fontenot at this point? At this point, because you've got 3 first-round picks, three lottery picks that you have on your offense, and you're throwing the ball to Jonnu Smith. The player usage ain't player usaging.
Yeah, you need whatever plays you calling for Jonnu. Those plays need to be the Kyle Pitts plays. But I think it's that he's more comfortable with Jonnu because it's been his guy.
What?
And that is the issue. And I will say, well, some of it is Jonnu's going to have the easier matchup if you put him and Kyle Pitts in the game at the same time.
Not if you put Kyle Pitts. If you put Kyle Pitts, Drake London, or at this point, Drake London wasn't there. So Cordero Patterson, Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, Bijan Robinson, and or Algier all in at the same time.
We're not playing. I don't know why that's not a thing. I don't know why, as a team that's middling, we're not playing all of our best players at the same time. I don't know what is his thing about, oh, no, I can't have all good players on the field at the same time. Some of them got to be on the bench. And that drives me nuts.
Now, I don't know if I think I always put on my conspiracy hat, right? Somebody told him stop feeding Bijan the ball this many times because it was 30 times, 40 times, 38, and then it went to 22. Said he had like 11 carries this game. He didn't really.
He was sick last game, so I'm gonna give him that. It's something. It's something. Somebody gonna have to have the conversation, like, bro, put all your best players in the game.
No.
And play them.
That's not a conversation they need to have anymore. That conversation has been. That ship has sailed. Ain't no more conversations, Arthur Smith. You either give up the play calling and go get an actual offensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels is out there. You may hate him as a head coach. You may be an asshole. But offensive coordinator-wise, he be scheming.
You're right, because Garoppolo was just not making throws.
Devontae Adams was wide open that whole game. So if Arthur Smith, you need to get the hell up off of that offensive coordinator. You are not it. You are not it. Bro, you ran a sweep on the 1-yard line with Jonnu Smith, number 81.
And out of all options to run a sweep in our offense, he is 4.
After you ran a screen. I'm so glad that screen worked just for my sanity. Because if that screen to Jonnu Smith didn't work, I probably would have blown a gasket.
That was 60 yards?
60 yards. But I guess
that's also our biggest play of scrimmage for the season, midway through the season.
Now, Taylor Heineke. We off the rails. We'll get to next week, whatever. I'm going. Taylor Heineke. We were all excited about you, and we are excited about you because you make really good
You're
plays.
competent.
You're competent
really
in the offense. But boy, your arm strength is off. Arm strength is awful.
Oh,
I can see why people are like, because you're like, dang, Taylor should be starting. Bro, you can't throw a deep end to save your life. Like, a dig route.
I just saw Dan Orlovsky talk about, hey, the difference between starting quarterbacks and backup quarterbacks is about this much. And I looked at Taylor Heineke, and I was like, it's about this much. Does he know what he's doing the majority of the time? Yes. Does he typically make pretty good decisions? Yes. I think he made one bad decision where he went one bad throw, the interception. Just a bad throw. It was behind him. That wasn't the throw. And then he missed one where he went for the short guy and the long guy. There was no safety over the top. And that was a touchdown. Those are the 2 plays. But if you got a guy who hasn't started all season, this is his first game starting, I'm not the maddest about that. Like I said, you can't really identify anybody on this team that played bad today. That's the reason this is an Arthur Smith loss, and it falls squarely on his shoulders.
Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. This is a front office game. This is what happens when teams stay put with mediocrity versus teams that go for it. You set up yourself the whole offseason to have 10, 15 million to be able to make a move at the trade deadline, and you did nothing. Now I will say you brought in old boy from the Street from the Eagles. Hey man, he immediately made his presence felt. He was like tackle in the backfield, trip, pressure, interception. I was like, oh okay, All right, well, that's cool. But, and like I said, the only thing about the defense that I can complain about is that our linebackers in coverage were just getting torched. They just isolated the linebackers the whole second half. That's all
we
they
have
did.
to do better at sustaining drives so that the defense can get some rest. We have to be real. Like, this defense is playing above their level of competency. Like, if you look at this defense, it's not a whole lot of world beaters on the defense. But collectively, they get the job done. But offense, you got to help them out. You can't put them in bad situations every week after week after week. And y'all are supposed to be this is supposed to be an offense team first.
Man, screw the bad situations. You can't mess up the good situations that the defense put you in. They can't put you at the 1 yard line and you kick a field goal.
Hey, if I'm Nielsen, like, me and Arthur Smith got to have a man-to-man conversation, and it's not going to be it's not going to be a conversation. It's going to be me talking directly to you. I'm coaching my ass off, and I need you to fix your offense.
It's so bad.
And that's the thing, Arthur Smith. That's your thing, is offense.
Is it?
Yes. That's what he was about. He was the guy with Derrick Henry. The offensive scheme, that's all him. He not known for defense, for sure.
What scheme was it with Derrick Henry? They ran the ball straight.
A lot. I mean, it looked good.
I don't even understand it. You have Derrick Henry and you ran the ball straight. You have Tyler Algier, who has a very similar running style. Downhill, run you over, run through you. Powerfully built. He's just not 6'4". He's 5'10", right? But he's 225. Derrick Henry's 6'4", 240.
That you can supply him.
And you keep running him in the flat and making Bijan run between the tackles. It's like, come on, dog. Run straight up the field.
You're trying to trick somebody, but you so smart. You ever seen somebody like, boy, you so smart, you dumb? That's who he is. You're not tricking us. And now Ryan Nielsen, I'm gonna tell you this: you need to stop dropping Calais Campbell in coverage.
They did it again. Every time the opponents are like a 10 for 10 when the ass happens.
And there's nothing. It ain't his fault. He's not young anymore, and that's not really his game. But he just be out there. He's big, so he stands there. But it's like, dog, you're not. If they don't come within an arm's distance of you, you're not getting them now. If you get your hands on him, you're right. You're a mauler. But outside of that, just avoid him.
Yeah, man. Our offense,
It's hurtful.
I don't see a remedy in sight. Even if Arthur Smith this week, who we play the Cardinals next week, right? Even if Arthur Smith coaches a good game next week, I don't believe it. I don't believe in him. I'm kind of through with Arthur Smith. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been 3 years.
It's frustrating to me because I feel like we throwing away good opportunities
and players
to win. But it's more like, look, we got our ass beat by Detroit. Cool story. That is what it is. We got our ass beat by Jacksonville. That is what it is. We had no business. We had no business losing to Washington. No business losing to Tennessee, and no business losing to Minnesota. We played two quarterbacks who first game was against us. You can't. Those games are like, and then we're about to play Arizona. Who's playing quarterback for them? God knows. But these are the games we have to win. Like, we're going to have a string, like, so many bad quarterbacks that we play that we should be able to beat. We need to beat Arizona. We got to beat Arizona. We can get this thing back together. That's the other part about it, is we can't right the ship over here. We can get this thing moving in the right direction, and we can still have an impressive season, but we have to cut the shit. Like, there's nothing other than let's get right to, hey, we have to win football games, and this is my responsibility to fix it. I don't want to hear anything else, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we got Arizona, New Orleans, the Jets, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Indianapolis.
The majority of our games are winnable.
I would go through there and say we should, but I don't believe we should. Why should we? Why should we beat them? Why?
Because Arizona's a joke, but tough joke.
Are they?
I'll be honest.
We tell it
tough
every
joke.
week. We say every week Arizona don't never get blown out.
They got blown out today, I think. I think they got whooped today. They did by the Browns. The Browns got one of the best defense. They shut them out 27-0, my boy. But they got a new quarterback because Dobbs ain't there no more. So yeah, we should.
Should we? Should we?
I understand your skepticism. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give Arthur Smith the smallest bit of credit. He's coached this team to be better than it's been.
Bullshit. This offense is supposed to be way better than it's functioning right now. Bullshit. Nielsen coached that team better than the defense. He has not coached the offense better than nothing. Nothing at all. 3 field goals, a sweep from the one tells me that you are underperforming. You are nating it right now. And right now, they're going to get you up out of there with all that talent.
They definitely going to get you up there. Nating it. Nate, it ain't the answer, my boy. For sure ain't the answer.
But finish what you were saying. I couldn't let that go.
I still am a believer that, like, I look at our roster for the last 2 years, and he's coached that team that should be, like, terrible into being mediocre. But I need you to now take that mediocrity and move into the space of being good. That's where, because somebody's going to look at this team and say, hey, this team ain't bad.
Yeah.
And if we can get a good quarterback, this team can be good. And I feel like that's where he has the potential to lose the game.
Before
by not winning the games.
Before we move on, I do want to
that he should.
Yeah, you're right. I do want to make sure that I point out something good. So I do like that Algier scored, but hey, I don't know what I guess the rapport is because he's the backup quarterback and he's really the third string QB. I mean, third string wide receiver or the number 3. But Kadero Hodge, man. Kadero Hodge is playing his ass off this game. He had 3 catches for 60 yards. He played really, really well. He didn't really have any drops. He had one catch was really, really close. And now we back with Arthur Smith. Why would you challenge that catch? Why would you go for it on 4th down? Why would you go for 2? Like, this is why Arthur Smith, and we right back. This is why Arthur Smith got to go. All of his decisions are bad.
He have no business going for it on 4th down. I said, why did he go for that? That made no sense. And I think that
he ain't got no strategy. That's what it is. That's why he be coaching the way. He ain't got no strategy. Go ahead.
The best, like, one of the best factors about him is he's rich. So, well, hear me out. So it's not like the threat of, like, I don't think he plays in the bounds of everybody else. My dad owns FedEx, so I can go out here and just put all my passion into this, and that be it. I'm not really worried about taking care of a family or anything. If I need money, my father is a bank.
You need a new passion. He needs a new passion.
So I think that sometimes he outsmarts himself. Like, the person who typically beats Arthur Smith is Arthur Smith. It's not the other team. We're not getting whoever the coach is for Arizona. He didn't out-coach him. He didn't do anything. Arthur Smith beat himself by being cute. And that's frustrating because you can see that we could be good if we stop doing these things that are elementary level football, like execution down and distance. No, you don't go for it here. Yes, you go for it here. He thinks he's smarter than he is, and that frustrates me. I ain't got no answer for that, bro.
Arthur Smith can go. I ain't got no answer either. And when you ain't got no answer to why somebody's bad in any corporation or job, that means we can't do nothing else for you, bro. It might
can't
be
win with him.
Dog.
Can't win with him.
Oh, and also that's what I wanted to before we move on because we're gonna go to our Hawks talk. We're gonna try to keep this under an hour. Before we move on, I do want to say, Terry Font, no, you didn't address the left guard position. Every position that we didn't really address, we got exposed today. Every single one. Quarterback, left guard, didn't go get it in, linebackers in coverage. Everything. All of that is exposed. So, Terry, There's got to be some whole. You can't even do nothing now, and that's what's even more frustrating. Is you can't do nothing.
We are
You
locked
rolling
in
with the
what we got.
team. Man, it's tough. But with all of that said, I think we are still. Aren't we still in the
We're in second place in the NFC South.
We're second place now because the Saints won. So they're 5-4.
But we play the Saints in 2 weeks. We play the Saints 2 more times. We have plenty of time to rectify this and move this thing in the right direction. But it's got to start with Arthur Smith. Like, you got to find a way to get yourself to that next level. Or you're just going to be a guy who is going to be a Band-Aid coach. Hey, I can get this team to be reasonable, and then you need to find a legitimate coach.
I would say the Falcons look like a Caleb Williams away from being a Super Bowl team.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Now, we're not our roster. Well, somebody going to drop. And you're right. That first pick has to be a quarterback. That's it. That is it.
Yeah. So we play the Cardinals next game in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 305.
Do you go Desmond Ridder or do you go with Heineke?
Desmond Ridder? Get that headset. Get that headset, buddy. You will never, as far as I'm concerned, love you. Fantastic guy. I think that you have a future in being a coach. This is not your job. Heineke had, as far as I saw, 2 really bad plays, 1 interception. It's no way in the world I think that Desmond Ridder has us anywhere near this game. Especially, nada. No. You're done, son.
So do we beat Arizona?
We have to.
We need to keep pace. We can't fall 2 games behind the Saints. Because we can beat the Saints. I still think we're going undefeated in the division. There's nothing that I've seen that changes my prediction of that. And I think we should be. I had us at like 12-5. We're gonna end up like 9-8.
Now this is the thing. We're gonna have to win these games because the Saints schedule about as easy as ours going out.
Mm-hmm.
Play Minnesota next, then they play us. They play Detroit. They probably lose that game. Carolina, they win. The Giants, they win. The Rams, I don't know if Matt Stafford going to be healthy. I didn't know he wasn't playing today, but he didn't play. Then they play the Bucs and they play the Falcons. They could win. They should have 3 losses. 2 of them should be to us.
Yeah, and I think we go. So we got 4 more wins coming from the division, if my prediction is correct. So that puts us at 8 wins for the season, and then we got to beat Arizona. We got to beat Arizona because I don't know if we beat those other teams that aren't in our division. I'm not sure. So I think
we got
who we got?
Arthur, you got to make this happen, bro. It's that simple. It's on you. It don't look left, don't look right. Go stand in the mirror. Play Michael Jackson.
Tell us
I'm staring at the man in the mirror, and you need to change your ways, big dog.
Tell us who we got left. Who we got left, real quick.
Oh, for us. Let me see who I went to New Orleans. Give me 1 second. And we have left. We have Arizona. That's the W we need. New Orleans. Got to beat those guys. Got to send them home. The Jets. No Aaron Rodgers. Just don't let them score any points.
Because we might not either.
Yeah, I mean, Young Way. I am. That's a Young Way game. Hey, bro, can you give us 5 field goals? That's all I'm asking for. And stop and hold them to 10. We score 15, hold them to 10. That's a ball game. We don't have to score a touchdown. I get it. Tampa Bay, we beat them once already. I think we can beat them again. Carolina, oh boy, they stink. Indianapolis, they are a little scary because they're just a competent team. They're just a competent team. Shane Steichen is coaching them. They don't have a bunch of world beaters over there. They're kind of like us the last couple of years where you look at their roster and you're like, oh, this team is terrible. But then you look at them play and be like, they're getting it done. And they're getting it done just like we was getting it done with Mariota. They're getting it done with Gardner Minshew. Chicago, no.
We played them?
We got to beat them and then New Orleans.
So
realistically, we probably split it with New Orleans. I don't think we're going to beat them twice.
I would love for us to beat them twice. But
Of
I got
course.
us with that schedule left. I stand by. I have us winning 5 of those games. If we lose to New Orleans, then we're gonna beat a team like the Bears, and we'll beat the Bears. If we beat New Orleans, we're gonna lose to the Jets. Like, so I got us finishing 9-8, and that's you got too much talent to finish 9-8, and you're in a terrible division to finish 9-8. You can't finish 9-8.
It's kind of tricky because it's kind of like, to me, it's up and down. We are playing the softest schedule in the NFL, so that should give us an advantage. But if you tell me going into the season the Falcons gonna go 9-8, probably okay with that. But seeing the way that we lost these games, we shouldn't be 9-8, if that makes sense. That's the reason I'm saying it's kind of tricky. It's a little bit of both. We should be better, but if we started the season and say, hey, we go 9-8 and we win the NFC South.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That just equals a first round loss to me. But
wait, hey, man, we got to get back to the playoffs first. We have to have realistic expectations. And let's be real, we don't have a quarterback right now. This is a quarterback's NFL. I mean, it's NFL that you need a quarterback. We don't have one at all. We just said we'll have to draft another one.
Terry Fontenot, Arthur Smith.
You better get your scout report right.
If y'all make it to the offseason and out through to next season, y'all better figure this out. Y'all got 8 games to put on tape to see why they should give you one more year.
And I'm going to tell you right now, we need you to draft C.J. Stroud and not Bryce Young. I ain't mincing words with that.
Yeah, you can't do that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our Falcons segment of the ATL edition of episode 127 of the SplashCast. Give us about 10 minutes. Give us about 30 seconds, and we'll be right.
Oh, boy. 10 minutes.
Give us about 30 seconds, and we'll be right back with our Hawks talk, where we talk about.
We're winning.
We're winning, interestingly enough.
But it's not fun. None of this is fun right now. I'll be honest with you. This is a struggle. We have the most successful struggling teams that you can have. It's a struggle. So every day.
Go get y'all beverage. We'll be right back. Give us 10 seconds, and we'll be back. Peace. That went out to you.
Yeah, brother. Reggie's sick. Reggie's sick, Arthur Smith. Big sick.
Listen, you get the hell on. You can leave me alone and get gone. We don't need you here no more. We don't need you here no more. Dan Quinn seems like he was a better coach than you were.
Oh, no. Dan Quinn is a scam. It's a scam.
What is Arthur Smith? Scam likely. That's the same thing.
Dan Quinn did not have Kyle Shanahan and Matt Ryan. I mean, excuse me. Arthur Smith doesn't have Matt Ryan and Kyle Shanahan. No, I'm not putting them two in the same boat.
All trash to me. Listen, compost is compost. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our Hawks talk, the ATL edition of episode 127 of the SplashCast, where we'll discuss the first 3 games, I guess? 3 or 4 games?
No, we 6 games into the season now. These are the last 3. You remember?
Oh, you know what?
Last week was the first week. This is
I
the second week.
first 2 from the record. I stricken the first 2 from the record. I tell you, my season started with the Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Because it started bad.
Them first 2 is embarrassing.
But you know what, the Hawks? I think the Hawks are what? They've won 4 in a row.
4-2.
We are 4-2. We played the Wizards, the Pelicans, and the Timberwolves. I am surprised that we won those games. But before we get there, they did. So the NBA in-season tournament has started. I didn't know that it was spread out over like 2 months. I thought it was like consecutive. Like you play the tournament and you get back to the regular season type thing. They playing like one weekend Then they play one weekend in December. Then they play. It's kind of interesting.
Not a great rollout. And it's convoluted. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Nobody understands it. And even more than that, I don't know of anybody who's really done a great job of explaining it. I saw Bones Highland say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing basketball.
At this point, that's all it is, though.
I think that's a normal kind of understanding of it. And honestly, I don't think people really care that much.
So all the teams rolled out their special courts, and I think the Hawks rolled out these jerseys that they look like they took the MLK jerseys and put different colors in there. I like the cream, on the jersey, the sweatshirts, but I didn't like the blue and the sky blue. I didn't like all of that.
When has that ever been
our color?
I have a conspiracy theory, but we have never had blue in our sneakers ever. But our best player, his little logo, is an ice cube, which also happens to be light blue.
Boy, you are.
I actually don't hate that. I actually think that that's a strategic partnership. I think that they're saying, yeah, like, this is our player. And also, I'm sure the people who developed it, like, they take that into consideration. We never had nothing blue. That's not true. We never had nothing light blue. Navy blue is the closest thing we've ever been blue.
Yeah, navy blue and
red, white, and blue.
No,
and then we had the like the other
lime
blue and green,
yeah,
the pistol
lime
peaks.
green joint, yeah,
but nothing light blue. These are ain't these Spellman colors?
Yes, I think they're trying to. The NBA as a whole is trying to create a whole different brand with this in-season tournament because all of the jerseys look kind of funky.
They don't look, and the majority of them, they just not good.
Yeah. So
and Kyle Kuzma kind of said something that I kind of agree with, where Nike's not really good with like building a brand. Like if you constantly kind of cycle through these jerseys every year, then you don't have like the iconic jerseys that we've had in the past because everything's kind of fleeting. I would just prefer you get it right and make a good jersey. These jerseys not it. Not for me.
No, they're not. They're not. So with that being said, man, so the Hawks started off against the Wolves, the Timberwolves. And Timberwolves did what I thought they were about to come do. They came and decided we are just going to dominate the paint. And Anthony Edwards came out and he just couldn't miss. And then something happened at halftime and in the second half when I was watching the game. In the second quarter. Quinn Snyder was coaching. I ain't gonna say started coaching. He was coaching. The thing about the Hawks last year is Nate would just let us run into a wall. We get beat and the team would come back we'd be up 15. They come back and he just let it happen. Or if we're down by 5 and they go on a 7-0 run, Nate just gonna let it happen. And it's like
he just try to let them kind of, which I do kind of understand, is you don't want to call a timeout every time, but sometimes like you have a relatively young team, you need to make some adjustments.
You got all them timeouts in basketball. You need to use them. Go ahead.
Now my other thing about this is I'm gonna always go back to this. Getting DeJounte Murray was the absolute right pick for us because before we had DeJounte, even like when we had Kevin Huerter specifically, if we got down, we were out. We got down by 10, 15 points.
Definitely an upgrade at the 2.
We had no way to get ourselves back to the game. Our team would just essentially quit. Nobody's going to be like, hey, well, there's still more basketball to play. And DeJounte Murray, he don't care if we up 20 or down 20. He's trying to, this next possession, he's trying to win it. And I really appreciate that.
So what Norwood is referring to is DeJounte, I think we were podcasting, matter of fact, while we were shooting Monday Night Live Monday Night Raw, I'm sorry, while
Yep.
this was going on. DeJounte had 41 points and led the comeback. We were down by 20 plus. He had 41 points, including 22 points in the third quarter. He had been struggling with the 3-point shot all year at the beginning of this season. And all of a sudden, that 3 started falling. And then you couldn't stop him getting to the rim. And what thing I've noticed about DeJounte, and it started, I don't know if it started here, but I think he got a lot more confidence, is when Trae's in the game, he has turned into a scorer. He is not a secondary facilitator to Trae. Nah, I'm the one that's going to get the ball and go to the rim. All y'all stand in the corner, and Trae going to throw the line to Capella. And I like that combination better than DeJounte making Trae go off the ball and you be the one and make Trae the 2. This seems to be working really well, and this is the testament to Quinn.
And I like, first of all, just the ability to watch Anthony Edwards and DeJounte Murray go back and forth. That's great basketball to watch. Those are 2 just dog players. They're going to get out there and give you the absolute best every time. I really appreciate that. And you're right. He got something else in him, man, where he's just going.
Yeah, he's angry. He's
not a quitter.
Mad.
He ain't I'm not quitting, and honestly, I'm not letting this team quit. And I really appreciate that because we needed that.
I remember when he hit that shot, I was like, they gonna lose. I said Minnesota gonna lose. When he hit that, I was like, oh, it's over.
I still think we need one more guard, especially with Buffkin being hurt now. We need to go find another guard. I get that DeJounte is like the backup point and the starting 2 guard. We're too short on guards. And if anything happens, we're reduced to Patty Mills. That ain't the answer. Patty Mills and us about the same age.
Same athleticism, too.
You said it, not me.
But I will say in this game, especially in the beginning, Minnesota just was dominating the boards. Rudy Gobert was basically clogging the paint. And I will say Trae has finally figured out, and I don't know if he remembered because he was doing it at the beginning of his career. If the Rudy Gobert ain't never gonna step out the paint. Most of them bigs ain't never gonna step out the paint. So he finally started hitting his floater. And when Trae hits his floater and passes the ball, he's very, very difficult to stop.
I'm a firm believer that if he passed the ball more, he would get easier shots. I'm a firm believer of that.
He's starting to realize it. And it's starting to happen. Because now Trae doesn't, even though he's very ball dominant, with DeJounte embracing being the scorer, Jalen Johnson is pushing the ball. So Trae there's no chance, if you notice, there's not a lot of chances to trap Trae in the backcourt anymore.
I was just about to say that. You trap now, he's going to get right out of it. I'm an abort mission, and everybody minus Clint can dribble the ball. So now I will say that was kind of one of the things that kind of hamstrung us a little bit with John Collins is you kind of limit yourself to 2 people who can kind of bail you out of a situation. Because Clint and John Collins not really great ball handlers. But having Jalen on the floor, who's not only an excellent ball handler, but a very fast ball handler. Hunter ain't going to do nothing but try to score. And then you got Murray. So you just have more options. It's almost impossible to like you said, trap him. And not trapping him makes his life way easier. Because that's one of the things I will say he struggles with. You trap him, like if you trapped him in the past, you had him.
And Trae, listen, I don't want to hear ain't no smoke. That's my guy. Whatever. You may still like John Collins. Y'all may have been cool off the court. You didn't trust him on the court because I mean, I'm not going to say you should have, but I'm going to say I've seen the difference in Jalen and then also putting DeAndre Hunter in the corner versus putting John Collins, because John Collins can basically only shoot at that point. He's not going to be able to break you down off the dribble or he can pass, but he's not going to make the best pass, like the difficult pass.
Well, Hunter
Jalen
ain't gonna pass
Johnson?
it either. He
But
could
Hunter
pass
gonna
it. He's
get to
not
the
gonna
rim.
pass it.
Hunter and Sadiq Bey, Quinn Snyder must have told them your role is to score because they don't pass the ball at all. But they are always open to hit the three in the corner, and they get to the rim and finish. They play well.
And that's the reason I'm not as mad about moving on from John Collins is if you want a guy to stand in the corner and shoot threes, that's not John Collins' primary focus. Never will be. Can he do it occasionally? Yes. I think he's almost shooting 40% from three with Utah, which is a whole different conversation. But that's not his primary game. It's a secondary part. It's something that he has, but that's not his strongest skill set. And planting him in the corner, what we were doing, wasn't doing anybody any good. Now, Sadiq, I need you to get very comfortable coming off the bench because that's Jalen Johnson's spot now, big dog.
I think he has. I think Sadiq realizes that your spot is gone. I don't know if they had a talk with him after the first game where he came off the bench because he came off the bench.
Look at the stats. Look at the stats, big dog. You have a conversation with yourself.
Well, I'm saying
you had
his
spot
game was different.
And the minutes.
He was. I think I said it to you. I was like, yo, Sadiq is out here shooting. Like he getting the ball, he's shooting every time, and he's playing like he is the number one scorer off the bench. And I think that hamstrung us in the first half against Minnesota for sure because he was challenging Rudy. I was like, dude, that's not your goal. Your goal is to hit the three. Now he can rebound. I am impressed with his rebounding. But you supposed to hit the three, big dog. You ain't supposed to do all of that.
People getting too cute. Now I will say, like, I think we need one more guard, man. Like I also think that I think he needs to open this rotation. I think the rotation is way too short this early in the season. Like you need to be trying to develop some players so we can't afford for anybody to get hurt right now.
But AJ Griffin can't really dribble either. He's a spot up shooter. They do. He does need to play 10. But
he's at like 8.5.
Yeah, but I think you also got to build chemistry within your own system. Remember, they only had one off season with Quinn. So but
you're gonna need 10 players. And
well, they might make a move. I don't know who you go get, but they might make a move. But there's definitely no trading Jalen now. Jalen was gonna be in that. They were trying to put him in this Pascal Siakam. He's either him or Hunter. And that ain't going. If they still pursue that trade, Jalen can't go anywhere.
I think you can bail on Pascal now. I mean, the man's on. He's like 30-something years old. Nah, Jalen's playing. Now
there's nowhere to.
I'm gonna tell you something else that I think that we should look into. Is Jalen Johnson playing a 3? I think we need to have everybody needs to basically play 2 positions, minus Clint.
So basically have combo forwards.
Combo guards, combo forwards. Everybody play 2 positions. You play the 4 and the 5, or you play the 4 and the 3. And I think honestly, I think that Jalen could play the 5 if you really needed a small ball guy, but I don't think that there's a situation where you're not playing Clint and not playing Okongwu.
No, because Okongwu has gotten better with his jump shot. And Okongwu, for the most part, had his rebounding, although we played a couple teams that didn't have their best rebounder, like the Wizards were missing Daniel Gafford, right? But he's been rebounding better. We played the Wizards. Speaking of the Wizards, we played the Wizards. We beat them 130 to 121. It was really never close.
The Wizards suck.
The Wizards are bad. They were up by 5 after the first quarter, and then it was basically a rout from there on out for the Hawks. I think they outscored us by 8 to cut it down to a 9-point win. But
they're a terrible team who, they could be OKC. They're gonna collect a bunch of draft picks. Now, I don't think that their centerpiece is like OKC. OKC,
I think they got a centerpiece.
Their centerpiece was Shea. Shea is way more competent than Jordan Poole. Period.
Jordan Poole ain't their centerpiece. I don't think Jordan Poole is in their future plans. I don't think none of this team is in their future.
Jordan Poole is one. Well, I mean, at this point, he's their centerpiece. I'm talking about who gets paid the most money. Whoever gets paid the most money, you are the centerpiece until proven otherwise.
They did that as a solid. They don't. I mean, whatever. Sure. He can be the centerpiece, and he play like the center. Then he play like the centerpiece. He shoot. But as I'm looking at these stats, though, this is what I noticed about Okongwu. Okongwu is going to dominate anybody that's his height or shorter. So we played, or maybe an inch taller. We played against Washington. He had 11 rebounds, 6 defensive, and his offensive rebounding has gotten so much better. He's been working out with Clint a little bit because he's learned how to like tip the ball against the backboard and then grab the rebound. That's been pretty. Yep. That's been playing pretty well.
My answer is keep them both. That's my answer. When it comes to Capella, it comes to Okongwu, keep them both. I don't have an answer
at this point.
I don't know. I think that it works. Now, yeah, maybe you split the minutes. Yeah, like in that game, Clint only played 21 minutes. That's perfectly fine to me. But he gets 11 rebounds. He gonna get them rebounds. He gonna get them boards no matter.
And that's what I'm talking about with our team as a general. Jalen Johnson had 11 rebounds that game. Okongwu had 11 rebounds against the Wizards. Capella had 11 rebounds against the Wizards. And you still got DeJounte.
Oh, you're right. That's the game I said we could have had. We honestly could have had 5 players with double-digit rebounds. If we really let it play out, how you could have 5 guys with 10 rebounds or more.
Mm-hmm. So
and that's impressive.
So
now Mike Muscala ain't nothing to out rebound, but
that's what I'm saying. We play. The Hawks are beating teams that we should outside of the first game against the Hornets. The Hawks are beating teams that we're supposed to beat, and that's all I can ask for the Falcons.
Which is half the battle. Which is half the battle.
Now, I will say I also like the Hawks over this last week. We've had a really balanced, outside of DeJounte's 47 or whatever, we've had really balanced scoring. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures against the Wizards. So it really could have been 8. I think we did the same. I think we had 7 against Minnesota. And I think we had 7 against New Orleans.
7 against New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. And then we had 7 against
everybody was in double digits that played, basically minus Hunter. Garrison Matthews didn't play 4 minutes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. And the thing is, with having this many scores, like you said, Hunter only had 4 points against New Orleans, but he played a hell of a game defensively. Boy, they called him out. They called him out after the game. It was like, yo, Hunter played, because he was guarding Zion and Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram was minus 10. DeAndre Hunter was plus 17 with only 4 points.
But that was always my thing. He, like me and Sid used to talk about it all the time. He could be the best player on the Atlanta Hawks basketball team if he ever put all of his tools together. He's the one person who can shoot, who can dribble enough. He should be able to pass. He just refuses to pass. And he can, like, he's a lockdown defender in the way of, like, I'm going to sit in the chair and just play really good defense. He's not high risk like DeJounte is. DeJounte's just high risk, high reward. He's just going to get them steals. He's a pest. But when it comes to, like, a guy who's strong enough, and honestly, he almost in the Okongwu bag for me of people who I think can guard. I seen what he did to Bam. He locked Bam up. I seen him stonewall Bam. And if you can stonewall Bam, I think that you can guard everybody. You can guard damn near every 4, and I say 50% of the 5s in the NBA.
Yeah, man. So even against, like, New Orleans, like, DeAndre Hunter only had 4, right? But against, I want to say, as we go, if you go back to, was it the Wizards or the Timberwolves, we had 27. He had 27 and played a complete game.
And I will say that I think that Quinn is doing a very good job of
23-7, 23-7-3. Quinn is coaching, dog. This is what happens when you have a coach.
He's definitely giving specifically Jalen Johnson and DeAndre Hunter a next level of confidence. Hey, go out there and play the game that you can play. Don't play somebody else's game. The way that he's unlocked Jalen Johnson, I have to say, Nate, that was criminal. Burying him on the bench was tragic. It was a waste. And then the thing about it was no reason not to play him. We would look like we went and got another power forward when we had Jalen Johnson not playing. That's criminal.
He was
I don't have an
he was
answer for
averaging
that.
like every time he would go to the G League, he would have a triple double.
32 and 10. So just down there just destroying people. And I'm like, and he was playing the 5, which is a whole different conversation that why was he playing the 5 if we have Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu?
Because he can rebound. He is amongst the rebounding leaders on our team every night. He had 11 against New Orleans.
And I like him and Murray together have this like second gear of like, oh, let's just do it.
That's
now
why
I
Murray
will
likes
say
him, Murray asked for them to play some more last year. He was like, dog, you need to play this dude.
Oh yeah. And Jalen sometimes he gets a little overzealous. I'm gonna say this every week, where he'll have a couple plays in a row, and then after that he's gonna have like a bad turnover or something. But you're gonna have to build confidence with that dude. He's gonna have to eventually figure out, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, because he has a unique skill set. I still think he probably throws the entry pass
to Okongwu. Him and Okongwu are
outside of Trae and DeJounte. There's nobody who throws really passes on our team better than him. And not playing that man, I don't have an answer for that, Nate. It's probably time for you to just.
Speaking of passes, man, I know Trae was on one against the Wizards. Now the Wizards don't play no defense, but Trae had one of these assists that was kind of crazy, and this is him talking about it, huh?
Mind blowing.
Because he didn't. Well, for those that are watching, you can see the assist. But he talks about it, how this may have been the best assist of his career so far. And he's had a lot to John Collins. So let's see. Let's listen.
For me, like I seen DJ going to the corner. For me, I'm never looking at the guy that's guarding me. So like I'm always looking at the help man, the defender behind him. And so for me, I drove by mine and I seen the help guy come over and another help guy about to take the big man. And so for me, it's that next person. I have to be able to throw it blindly. And I mean that's just the trust I have with my teammates that they're going to be there. And for me, I've practiced that pass so many times that I know where it should be and how high it should be, and I mean, some would call it luck on how it got there into his chest, but for me, like I really work on those type of things, and I do have a lot of trust in my teammates being in those positions too, and that's how you know we're getting better and we're having a really good offense.
He has the ability to be the best facilitator in the NBA.
Well, I'd say top 2 because Halliburton right now is on a different level,
and Luka too. But what I'm saying is he could very well be in that same conversation.
Yep, every year.
For the next 10. I do think that if we can get Murray, like that's how the balance I think it should be. Murray should shoot more shots than Trae. If you got him shooting better shots, then I think we have a much better chance of winning games. Because, I mean, the defense ain't defense in now. I don't have no answer for that.
No, we 30 points a quarter. 30 points a quarter. We're going to give it, as long as we score 31, Quinn is happy.
That scares me. But there's nothing that we can do with the collection of guys that we have to fix that. It just ain't going to be enough defense. Jalen going to play some defense. Hunter going to play some defense. Capella going to play some defense. Okongwu going to play some defense. And DeJounte going to get some steals. Everybody else watching on defense.
So with that pass from Trae, one thing that he mentioned, trusting his teammates, that's what I was talking about, was saying you have a whole offseason. Because that was the rotation. The rotation is you pass it, he dribbles. If you're standing at the 3-point line, you either stand at the top of the key or you rotate to the elbow or the corner. Normally, right there, if you're at the top of the key, you rotate to the elbow. If you're at the elbow, you rotate to the corner.
Rotate to the corner.
Trae knew that because he said, I saw DeJounte standing at the top of the key, so I knew that his rotation was to the corner. And, I mean, it was a no-look, and he knows exactly, and it hit DeJounte right in the shooting motion. And not many people can make that pass. That is off-season work. That is chemistry. DeJounte got a few of those, too. Trae got a lot of those. And again, I'm not trying to crap on John Collins because I wish that it would have worked out, but you could tell that Trae enjoys playing with these guys. He believes in Jalen Johnson. The way that he's trusting and believing in them means he didn't believe in John Collins. And it sucks But I mean, he right now is playing at a level. Now we played the Wizards. We played New Orleans, who is they're good, but they are underachieving. And I think
They're a
Brandon
constant work in progress.
Brandon
They
Ingram,
always
that was his first game back too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, and like Valanciunas, he's kind of big and he's kind of good, but Capella and Okongwu are they're better. That's the benefit of having two really good centers is you're going to get 48 minutes of good center play. And most teams don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
And can we go to Okongwu shooting threes?
Well, that's what I was about to go to next. With the growth of Jalen Johnson and the growth of Okongwu. Okongwu said last year, I'll be back with a jumper. He said it at the end of last year. The year before last, he said, I'm working on getting stronger in rebounds. Then he said at the end of this year, and not fouling as much, and he stayed in the game. He improved vastly. He said at the end of this year, I'm going to come back with a jumper. And I went to the preseason game. Y'all remember, I went to the preseason game, and I said, I saw him and DeJounte Murray having a corner three-point shooting contest, and he hit 5 in a row. And I was like, Now, I ain't seen him hit 5 in a row of nothing outside the paint. Free throws, nothing. And he hit 5 in a row. And then in the game, he hit one, and I was like, okay, it's preseason. They're letting him shoot. Nah, if you look at this, that's playing right now, Okongwu hit back-to-back threes against, who was that, Minnesota? No, New Orleans.
No, New Orleans.
And now, they ran the play for him. Go ahead.
I think Quinn is coaching him to don't worry about, just shoot it. If you're open, shoot the ball. And I think that goes for Jalen Johnson too. If you're open and they're gonna self-check and let you self-check, shoot it. And we just need you to make enough of them. And I think that Jalen is kind of getting comfortable shooting his three-pointer, and I think Okongwu is too. I think that a lot of these small ball teams, that's going to be our lineup. I'm even for sometimes maybe Jalen at the 5, Sadiq at the 4, Hunter at the 3, DeJounte at the 2, and Trae at the 1. I'm not against that if we really want to go 5 wide or do something different. I want to get our best players on the floor playing the best basketball that we can play consistently. The Falcons and Hawks, whoever's the best needs to play.
So with you saying you want 5 out, that's cool playing Jalen at the 4. I mean at the 5. But if Okongwu's gonna do this, if he's gonna hit the corner 3, you don't need to do that. You don't need to, because you now have a better defensive presence with Okongwu in the game.
You're right,
and he's hitting it. Now, if you want to run, then of course he can run too now.
I mean, that's just another wrinkle I would be open to at certain points in the game. Like, all right, well, let's see if, like, all right, say we might be up by like 15 or 12. Let's see if we can get them on out of here. Let's put everybody in the game and see if we can get 8 quick points, go up by the dub, and then kind of coast.
Well, see, that's the thing about us right now. Let's see if I can do it in this view. Y'all.
That's a problem, though.
Okay, here it is. So in this view, and I may try to make the screen a little bigger so y'all can see it.
But 3 double-digit comebacks, that's cool and all, but that's not cool. Like we don't need to be, number one, that takes a lot of extra energy, and you don't want to be wasting those type of games this early in the season. And why are we getting down every game by 10 plus points?
Yeah,
we can't never just drive the car.
So we are a team that does not give up, but we've been getting down, like against New Orleans. We weren't down against the Wizards. We were down against the Timberwolves.
No, we was down against all 3 of these teams.
Yeah, we were down against the Wizards in the first half. We were down double digits.
Yeah.
So we are starting off slow for some reason, but whatever these adjustments they make it in the second quarter, we normally come back and blow them out in the second and third quarter. It has happened every game.
Hey, don't Arthur Smith yourself and wait till the second half to start making adjustments. It is more than fine for us to win the whole game and be dominant. Let's try that.
Yeah, man. So we do have that, and then we also have, you had Jalen Johnson, you had Okongwu, but Jalen Johnson is at 62% field goal. He's at 40% three. He's averaging 15 points, 14.5 points. I won't round up. 14.5 points and 8.3 rebounds. This is from a guy that couldn't see the court at all. But you could tell he's worked on his game too now. He could always dribble, but he's got moves now. He's got a counter and hit that. Y'all saw that? That 3-point shot and him being able to glide to the rim and finish. He is a problem. And he dunks.
Now, I'm going to tell you where this really frustrates me is.
Better go back to Nate.
No, I'm going back to John Collins, giving away John Collins. As good as Jalen has been, and he's been damn good, John Collins is averaging 14 and 10. And he plays defense.
Different type of offense.
I agree, but there is a world where we pay the tax, and we have we have Capella and Okongwu. We have Collins and Jalen Johnson. We have Hunter and AJ Griffin. We have Trae and DeJounte, and then maybe one more filler person. But I think that
if we got Bogey and Sadiq.
Oh, Bogey, that's the other person. And Buffkin. That will really be that's a hellacious
14
team.
Man you are at 14 people.
No. But out of those, the 10 that's what we really should be doing right now. Is we should have had a 10-man rotation with those 10 players. That would give you a starting 5 and a backup 5. And honestly, that's a good, it's not going to happen, but not playing, giving away John Collins to me is extremely frustrating, and not playing Jalen Johnson is equally as frustrating. We just wasted seasons.
That to me is a little bit of bitterness, because John Collins.
I'm bitter.
And the John Collins was not going to be able to function in this offense the way that they wanted to play it with Trae. That was not going to happen. So you had to get rid of John Collins to get Jalen Johnson more playing time, because you weren't going to be able to keep Sadiq Bey, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Okongwu, Capella, and play all. That's 6 players for 2 spots. You weren't going to be able to do that. So
yeah, I think that functionally, I'd rather just. And I ask you, would you rather have Sadiq Bey or John Collins?
In this offense, Sadiq Bey. In this offense, with this team, I would rather have Sadiq Bey. Right now. Jalen against the Pelicans, he had 21 and 11 and 4 assists. And the way that this era of basketball, we've talked about it before. The ability to not be able to dribble is being removed from the game. You are going to have to be able to dribble somewhat. There's not many that can't. And now, John Collins.
Okay, so my only pushback to that is that John Collins averaged 14 and 10 with no point guard. No point guard. THT.
You're missing the point.
John
Collins can average 14 and 10 over there. He wouldn't average 14 and 10 here, because we run a different offense that's centered around Trae and DeJounte. You need somebody like Jalen to grab the ball and go, and let them then get the ball, because it keeps them.
I get what you're saying. As far as being able to move the ball down the court faster.
And you have the fluidity of being able to. You put DeAndre Hunter in the corner, who can, even if somebody flies out at him, he can still dribble to the rim and either take the shot, take the mid range.
You're right. He can't attack the basket. I'll give you that.
So I understand John's averaging 14 and 10. I hope he averaged 20 and 10 this year, honestly. But I don't think that he would have done that. I don't think he would have been better than Jalen in this offense. Not this one. You'd have been stuck. And we'd have been sitting there right there like last year. Yo, y'all need to get rid of John Collins. Or y'all need to do something and change the offense. They ain't changed no offense. They just put Jalen in there and go run. That's all they did.
I guess the pace is up. I just,
you like John Collins. I get it. But
I think that there are other things that we could have done, but it's neither here nor there at this point.
So The Hawks have got to figure out. I will say the Hawks have got to figure out how to start faster. We can't keep dropping down by double digits, and then
You need to play like we need to add 2 players because as soon as somebody gets hurt, this thing is gonna fall apart. You're gonna put a guy out there and he's like AJ Griffin is playable.
I think they knew. I do
And
think he needs to play AJ Griffin more. I do think he needs to play AJ Griffin. I agree.
and let's be real, Buffkin needs to not be on the JV.
Well, he's hurt now.
He's hurt, so it don't matter. But he's sitting frustrates me every year because we send good players to go play in the G League and just leave them there.
Oh,
That kid is an NBA player. Like, if you're going, like, we drafted in the middle of the draft where he was like, what, 14, 15 pick?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else 14, 15 pick playing, except for ours.
Yes and no. I don't know if you necessarily. I think you do need to play 10 players.
And we need another guard.
But I mean, you would play AJ Griffin. You need if you're gonna do that and play AJ Griffin now that Buffkin's hurt, you need to let Bogey handle the ball more. Bogey's gonna have to be the ball handler because you don't have anybody unless you're gonna play DeJounte. You don't have anybody to facilitate, which is what they're doing.
Derek Lively playing, Jet Howard playing. I think Grady Dick is playing. Keontae George definitely playing. Hood Shafino probably not playing in LA. Jaquez, the dude he's playing for the Heat. Whitmore not playing. Noah Clowney. I guess that is right at the point where you start court. Like the rest of those guys don't really play. I guess that's right around there. But I think that I would like to see him play because I think we need another guard, like another ball handler. And he ain't got to be like he can play the combo guard because Bogey can dribble well enough. And Bogey's actually been a better facilitator this year. But us going short with guard, eventually somebody's gonna tweak an ankle, and then we're gonna have to roll out Patty Mills. And Patty Mills not gonna be he ain't it.
So through the first 6 games, the Celtics are 5-0. They beat the Pacers by 51. The Philadelphia 76ers, through all of that turmoil, is 4-1. And then the Hawks are 4-2, the Magic 4-2, the Bucks 3-2, all the way down to the Wizards, who are 1-4. Now we know it's the beginning of the season. It's a long season. You said Grady is playing. Grady who?
No. Just know his name is Grady and he plays for the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, Grady Dick. I know he's talking about. That's fine.
You said Grady who? What you expect my answer to be?
Yeah.
But
the Hawks are 4-2. Like I said, I think we play coming up. Who do we play? What's our schedule coming up?
The Thunder, the Magic, and the Heat.
Yeah, here it is. Let's go schedule. So this week we play at Oklahoma City. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's a game we probably lose.
We don't have the size to compete with Oklahoma City.
Wait. I mean, we actually do. You just gotta Jimmy rig the rotation. Trae and Shea, they gonna kind of cancel each other out. Giddey is taller than DeJounte, but DeJounte's faster than Giddey. I'm actually okay with that. What's that? Jalen Williams at the 3, DeJounte. To me, that's a dog fall. They're about the same size. At the 4, who do they have at the 4? Who is the Thunder's 4? And then Clint versus
Chet.
Yes. Now I would probably play a Kung Wu versus Chet more because I feel like a Kung Wu is a little bit faster.
Jalen Williams. They play
outside of that
before. They play Jalen Williams. They play Shy, Giddey, Dort, Williams, Holmgren.
Oh yeah. That Dort is the place where you got to figure out a way to make it. He's the person who. I mean, I can't say that you can even take advantage of him because he ain't no slouch on defense. He ain't won it all.
Well, the
But
Hawks,
now what I might do is I would probably go. You probably got to put DeJounte. Oh, that's the answer. You put DeJounte on Shea. I'm putting Hunter on Giddey. I'm putting Trae on Dort. I'm putting Jalen on Jalen. And then I'm playing Okongwu on Chet. I'm subbing Clint out very early. Because Dort ain't going to score a whole bunch of points.
What? He hit like 5 3-pointers against us. So, like, how this works is the Hawks are going to win this game by their bench. Our bench is going to have to outplay Oklahoma City's bench. If our bench play, and they have the players to do it. You got Sadiq Bey, you got Bogey, you have, I guess you put.
They're going to play all them guys like 30 minutes. Now,
So
they say Shea is out.
Against us? Oh, well, we're going to win this game. It don't matter.
Yes.
So
yep,
we should win this game. This is probably a Chet coming out party, though. He's probably going to get about 30. Orlando. We play versus Orlando at home. Trae relishes playing against the Magic. He always seems to want to go right at the Magic. He thinks that it's almost like he's putting his foot on their neck just for them to make sure that they understand their place in the division.
Now, the thing about that is
they just beat the Bucks, didn't they?
Jalen, it's going to be a tough night for you.
Yeah, with Paolo.
You're a pretty solid defender, but Paolo is really going to make it difficult on you. Now, I do think that you're probably about as athletic as him.
I'm about to say it's a good matchup now.
But Jalen's athletic, but not the greatest defender. Paolo is a monster.
Yeah, he is. Paolo's kind of
he's strong but fast. That's the thing with him. He's another guy who I think played 3, 4, 5 in the right system.
But even Paolo, the person that gives us buckets is Franz Wagner, and DeJounte. So not DeJounte,
they got us.
DeAndre and Jalen gonna have a time against Orlando, and also they try to take advantage. They got Jonathan Isaac back, and while he may not be scoring and doing a lot, his defense is
monster
here.
On defense. He's just so tall and lanky.
And he is playing really, really well defensively. So that's going to be an interesting game. Again, I think that's where our bench should win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Orlando comes out here and plays well. Now.
Wendell Carter out.
Oh, yeah, he's out for like 3 weeks.
Well, in that case, then, yeah, if I'm them, I'm probably moving. I'm moving Paolo to the 5, Franz to the 4. And then I'm probably putting Isaac in at the 3, maybe.
Sure.
Because they don't but Taze ain't 2K. The answer.
That sounds like
for sure ain't
they're not gonna put. They don't put. Do they play him at the 5 now, Paolo?
No, but Gogo Bataze ain't the answer. Not 4 points for 3.5 rebounds.
You telling us if you were a 2K GM because they're not gonna play. Paolo ain't gonna play the 5. Paolo gonna play the give me the ball, and whatever y'all would think I'm gonna play is he's gonna be a forward.
I mean, I would just that's the reason
he get dominated against Clint.
Yeah, I'm just playing small ball at that point because Markelle Fultz ain't small. Jalen Suggs is appropriate size. Wagner and Banchero, they're big enough. Yeah, I would, and I put Isaac in there. That's it for me.
So then Miami Heat come to town, and I don't know what to know about the Heat. I don't know what to think about the Heat. I don't know. I know they got Jimmy Butler, and at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler can just decide to win the game when he wants to. But I mean, he's
done
day
that
to day. Caleb Martin is out
so many times.
Duncan Robinson is day to day. It's Kyle Lowry. He's a pest. He may get under, but Trae. The thing about having DeJounte is there's no getting up under Trae's skin anymore. DeJounte gonna come right at you. Tyler Hero, sure. Haywood Highsmith, he plays okay. And then there's Bam. And what do we do when we play Bam? We jump him. That's all we do. So y'all can't see the depth chart. Sorry about that. So that's all we do.
That's another Okongwu game. Hey, yeah, we're gonna go. But you know what? I'm not gonna say that because you remember the last time we played the Heat, Clint had like 17 rebounds. So
They don't have any size. They got Kevin Love coming off the bench. They got Jamie Jaquez, who's playing well. He's a point forward type player.
They do. They play like a stupid road. They need another guard too. They really need two.
But they need
Because you should really
everything.
be your backup
guard.
should
They
be
need
Thomas
another
Bryant,
center.
Kevin Love, Jamie Jaquez, Duncan Robinson, or Josh Richardson, and then you should have a point guard. That should be your 5. But whatever they're doing is just Duncan Robinson at power forward ain't the answer nowhere.
So do the Hawks end up? I think we should go 2-1 in this 3-game stretch before we end up playing next week. But
yes,
they got to start out strong against OKC.
That's best case scenario for us. We need to win. You know what I say? Well, go to old Nate. How many of these games are home games? Win the home games, and then whatever happens on the road happens on the road.
1 on the road against OKC. Then,
and that's the one that
Miami.
I would feel most comfortable with us giving up.
I wouldn't. I would like for us to go ahead and go 3-0. We have some.
Oh,
momentum.
sure. But if
what I'm
we're going to
saying
lose
is
one, that's the one that I think we have the highest propensity to lose.
We have the momentum right now. I think we're figuring out our offense. I think we can beat these teams. Will we? Remains to be seen. The outlier is if Trae continues to embrace his role as more of a facilitator, and he's not a secondary option, but he's a secondary play caller. So Jalen or DeJounte gets the ball and they go, or Trae or DeAndre, but whoever gets the ball, they go and they try to find a mismatch, and then they reset it with Trae. They kind of did that with Nate, but Nate's reset, the play was so bad, and the personnel didn't meet the scheme. Now everything meets the scheme, and if they can continue to play well, because we haven't, as much as we've talked about Trae, we haven't talked about, he's been shooting poorly. Overall, he's had a bad shooting start. I mean, the reason DeJounte had to go off against Minnesota is because Trae wasn't playing well. But he's been assisting. He has improved on defense.
That's why I want him to shoot easier shots, bro. You ain't got to go 1 of 7 from 3, big dog. Just shoot you some twos. You go into the free throw line an appropriate amount of times, but just drive the car, dog. Drive the car. Just drive it. If you drive this car, which I've always said, if he's a primary driver instead of trying to do all the rest of the stuff, he's unstoppable. He can be right back at the two. We laugh about the 20 and 13, 20 and 14, 20 and 15. That's realistic.
Well, I mean, let's see. Game 1, 23 and 9. Let's go look at the stats real. Might as well. Let's look at the stats before we get out of here. Because I mean, he's averaging 21.7 and 10 on 28% three-point shooting and 34% from the field. He's averaging 22 and 10. 22 and 10. We're going to round up here.
And shooting
or
terribly.
round down. 22 and 10 and shooting under 30%. Or at 31. He's shooting 31% from the field. That's scary.
You got to get that.
If he can get, and you know the shots are going to start falling. And the problem
that's
is
the other part. He has
historically
been a slow starter. Every
I don't want
year,
him to. I don't want him to get to the point where the shots start falling and he forget everything else. The shots if the shots start falling, now he's at, 28 because he only needs a couple more. 28 in 12.
Now that's my
with the East the way it is.
That's my only concern is if he starts shooting better, he Men in Black flashy things himself and then forgets everything else, and then we go back to that's a fear of mine. I think now functionally he can't keep shooting because he's not shooting a high enough percentage. But if when he makes a couple, he gonna shoot that thing.
Yep.
That scares me.
But ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the ATL edition, episode 127 of the SplashCast Sunday night service. I don't know.
I like Sunday service.
We talked about the Hawks talk. We talked about Trae. Yeah, the Hawks are on a 4-game winning streak. And before we talked about the Falcons choking away a game to the Minnesota Vikings, and I think it's appropriate that the fat lady is warming up on Arthur Smith's tenure in Atlanta.
Oh wow, Reggie's sick of him.
Uncle Curtis, as Norwood called, and Norwood and his folks say, fire the coach. I am on the bandwagon, bro. We have
and you gonna fire
3
all
years.
of my coaches. You know, Billy Napier, he got to go first. He got to go first.
Arthur Smith calling that Billy Napier offense sweep on the goal line. I'm telling you, it's bad. It's quick.
When I
screen
saw that,
right.
I was like, bro, why are you doing this?
After they stopped us on 4th down, multiple. Y'all not gonna get me started again.
Yep.
No, if we didn't miss anything, take us out.
Hey, once again, thank you guys for rocking with us on what we have, I think maybe changed this to Sunday service. Number one, always remember, like, follow, subscribe. We had a fantastic SplashCast, I think 48 pack for episode 126. Put it where it belongs. Yes, it's a 48 pack. It will be a 36 pack out this week. We'll have T Grizzly, Jeezy album out, Dave East, Betty the Butcher, Lil Wayne, Currency, Alchemist, Paul Wall. You're right. That is Paul Wall, Lloyd Banks, Sonny Digital, 21 Savage, T.I., Gunna again. Gunna is a damn bandit. I don't know how he did what he did and bounce back and keep making hits, but he did it. But yes, that will be out on Wednesday. This episode will be out on Tuesday. Of course, Monday Night Raw. We're going to do a live tomorrow. We'll be out Thursday, and we will be back betting beers on Saturday. I did enjoy my weekend this weekend. I got the little taste of homecoming. It was fantastic. I'm barely holding on. Maybe y'all can tell. Maybe y'all cannot. Hopefully, I mastered pretty well. Outside of that, we are out of this thing. Adios, mi amigos. Nessa, good night. Kevin, good night. And see y'all soon. See y'all tomorrow.
Peace. We out of here. Love y'all.
Adios, mi amigos.